What's up, Ego Hackers? Welcome to the C.S. Joseph podcast. I'm your host, C.S. Joseph. So today's episode, we're going to be discussing Dr. Hugbox. Dr. Hugbox. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of information relating to TypeGrid 6. By the way, if you want to check out TypeGrid 6 and learn all the aspects of TypeGrid 6 so that you can literally have the ability to vibe type and rapidly type anyone in terms of their nature and their 16 types, go to school.com/CSJoseph, SKOOL.com/CSJoseph, and that is season 40, part 2. However, to get access to it, you should become a premium member, which is $100 a month, because the course costs, or at least when it's completed, it will cost $300 for access to that course. So you might want to do it that way, save some money while you're at it. We're rolling out episodes in July 2026. Right? So it's coming. Pre-order is available now, 1/3 off the price. But yeah, so from a TypeGrid 6 perspective, you got Dr. Hugbox, right? So here's like a little hint. Men have specializations and women have specializations in terms of gender archetypes, and the archetypes of the mature masculine. One of them is the magician archetype. So what is a Dr. Hugbox? Dr. Hugbox is basically a leader with magician archetype among men, right? And what he does is that he is the keeper of mob mentality. He's the one that is casting vision for the subconscious developed male mob to be able to move them in a direction that, very much benefits him personally, because subconscious developed men are very solipsistic. And it's funny, they like to take turns in terms of who gets to be the most selfish, or who has earned the right to be most selfish this time. Kind of like how women act, which is really disgusting, because they're all effeminate men. So Dr. Hugbox, what he does is that he guides the mob in a certain direction that benefits his own personal sense of selfishness, basically. Dr. Hugbox is a thing. He's like a walking little Satan. He's like a walking little Lucifer. He's like, hey, come over here. It's comfortable. It's safe. You're good. I'm really inspiring with what I say. And then the subconscious developed men, all their panties drop, basically. And then they bend over, and then they get fucked over, because Dr. Hugbox is going to take them for everything they got. And they have no clue. They have no clue what that means or what that's even about. They have no clue the risk that they are taking. So there's always a Dr. Hugbox inside of every subconscious developed male group. And the Dr. Hugbox is the man who, in my opinion, Yudi men should be targeting, right? They should be targeting that, because Dr. Hugbox presents the biggest danger. Dr. Hugbox has the ability to give inspiring speeches, feel goods, sweet nothings to SD men in order to fire them up as an angry mob at any moment and unleash that angry mob upon anyone Dr. Hugbox does not like. You gotta watch out. That happens all the time. So most people just don't get it. When you're an unconscious developed man and you're 20% of the population mentally, 20% of men, right? And unconscious developed women are about 20% of the population of women. It's so easy to fall victim to the Dr. Hugboxes of the world. These powerful, manipulative magicians who end up becoming the invisible guiding hand behind subconscious developed social orders, such that at any moment because you're unconscious developed, because you're open and explosive, and because you're authentic, you automatically become the target of the Dr. Hugbox. And the reason why is because you represent a clear and present danger to his power, to his sway, and to his influence above the mob. There's really only one way to win, and that is to incite the mob against Dr. Hugbox. That's the only way to win. You do that by exposing Dr. Hugbox one at a time to each individual, and you give such irrefutable proof that it is undeniable, and then they will turn against him, because that's what SD men do. Subconscious developed men, they always betray. They're always treacherous all the time. The reason why is because it's like monkey branching for safety. They're jumping from one safety net to another. As soon as it looks like a safety net is starting to lose integrity, like structural integrity, they'll jump to a new safety net. And oftentimes in subconscious developed social circles, the Dr. Hugbox of the group is basically considered the ultimate safety net. If you as a UD man can expose him for the fraud that he actually is, and expose how he's not actually a safety net, the subconscious developed men will collectively abandon him until such time they elect or find a new Dr. Hugbox. Creates a power vacuum. And in that case, you as a UD man can have the option of usurping his role for those men. The problem is you don't want to be the safety net for such men, because they're solipsistic. They will take you for everything you have. They will, like vampires, suck you dry. So you have to be careful with that too. So sometimes it's better to just disengage and remain silent, because in silence, their mob mentality, their what-if scenarios will ultimately cause them to fall apart. Maybe their whole friend group will break apart. And that can be an issue. And by the way, like, they love forming mobs. They love going on witch hunts, because subconscious developed male's meaning, he doesn't really have much meaning in life. So as a result of that lack of meaning, a witch hunt all of a sudden gives him meaning that he's never had previously. And that too is a problem. So how do we stop that? Well, gotta stop it somehow. You do it by not engaging. You just don't engage. If you can remove the Dr. Hugbox out of the scenario by exposing him, the rest of the men will fall apart afterwards. What's interesting about Dr. Hugbox is that he is a leader, but he's a leader at the individual basis. He's not really that much of a leader of the entire group. You need somebody else to fill that role. The problem is that a subconscious developed king who would be able to take on that role, they're usually so selfish with how much money they're making anyway and how generative they are, that they're just going to be extracting value from the group instead of bringing value to the group. And they're doing it overtly, versus the Dr. Hugbox is doing it covertly. And that too is another problem for them. And it's just so interesting to watch these men follow these grifters, these fraudsters consistently. You know, like Rollo Tomassi, right? He's a subconscious developed Dr. Hugbox for sure. Teaching the red pill, has his rational male books, all about looks, money, status. But in reality, does it actually have any real value? No, it doesn't. It's not going to lead to families. He doesn't teach men how to have a family. He doesn't teach men how to parent children. He doesn't teach men how to stay in a committed relationship. He doesn't teach men on how to properly hold women accountable. Instead, he teaches men to how most efficiently pump and dump girls, and explain why pumping and dumping is necessary, which it's not. And he likes to walk around acting like he is the solution to the bigger problem, when in reality, that's actually not the case. But he is Dr. Hugbox. Good times, I guess. Good old Dr. Hugbox. Yeah, so watch out for the Dr. Hugbox. He may look like some grand leader. He may look like a powerful force that you have to deal with as an unconscious developed man, but not really. He's weak like the rest of them. And I think most people just need to realize how much of a threat that parasite actually is, because they are a parasite. And subconscious developed male dynamics, like, it's just so important that their eyes are opened. That way they have the opportunity to actually become unconscious developed. Because what the Dr. Hugbox does, it keeps things so comfy with this perceived illusion of safety and security that the Dr. Hugbox will lead them all to believe, hey, we're safe, when in reality he's just a parasite. And then at any moment he will use them as an angry mob and weaponize them to destroy his enemies, which is usually the unconscious developed male who is not harmonious. So UDSF men, the top 4% of men, because he's extremely envious and jealous of those top 4%. So, all right, I think I've hammered this one pretty well. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.